Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the Masters League. We are here for Formula One and back tonight for season number 8, round 1 of the championship. Of course, sponsored by Next Level Racing, as we take, of course, the Bahrain Grand Prix from the Sakhir International Circuit. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream as your solo commentator for this season so far, and I'm delighted, of course, bringing you the action once again in the top tier of TML F1, as it is now known, of course, these days for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Of course, we had action in Bahrain in terms of the action last night in Premier, and what a race it was in Premier 1. Certainly, Taroufides took the win back then, and he was quite dominant, of course, in that race in Premier. And we might get to see more of the same tonight with different drivers, different teams, of course, taking part here tonight. What we will do, first and foremost, though, is introduce you to the 20 drivers and the reserves, of course. You might have seen it on the placement show, but we'll repeat it anyways in terms of the driver lineup. So, in the Red Bull, we have Neymar and Gaines class. Luca's just coming through on the lobby end, so apologies if you heard any rustling in the background. Neymar and Gaines class, formerly QRT Yona, of course, they're in the Red Bull. Charlie Harris and Scott Buckner are in the Mercedes, with Daniel V28 and Bas Bremer in the McLaren. Nathan van der Berg and Harry B, of course, returning to TML this season in the Aston Martin. Vicala and Iton there in the Alpine, with Elliott and Carlsbury in the Ferrari. Dara and Blackbox in the AlphaTauri, with Nitro and Nathan Clark in the Williams. Benny and Forza Brendan there in the Alfa Romeo. And then Hawk, who I know very well, and Kaya, of course, who is obviously a very good driver for Talent Factory. They complete the Haas lineup. And on the right-hand side, you can see the reserves there. On the right-hand side, we will be getting a few of these in tonight, I'm sure. Noziek is the first reserve, along with Samu, Volokongan, Recon, Slimbo, Funky Chicken, Glowstick, Luca, Fleddy, and Tails is right down there at the bottom end of the field. Good evening, by the way, to Nixie there in the chat. Hopefully you are doing very well. Rojgar there in the comment section saying, go Neymar, let's go Neymar, let's go. Bit of a chant potentially going on there in the comment section. Was really good to see. And hopefully you guys are all doing well, and hopefully everything is stable, of course, with the stream. Apologies, by the way, if we didn't have any sound at the beginning. Did explain in the chat that we had a copyright claim on the last night's premiere for my intro music, even though it's in the description of this very stream. Unfortunately, I had to mute the music because the YouTube algorithm seems to be fessing up, I think, in terms of the music, which is a shame. But hopefully, we are going to be seeing some really good action, of course, out on track. There's a 5-minute delay, apparently, due to chickens running around the track. Well, Funky Chickens, certainly. I'm not sure if he's actually in the lobby at the minute. There's 15 currently in the lobby at this stage, so hopefully we will be seeing some action out on track very soon. And looking ahead as well to the rest of the season, it is going to be, of course, fascinating to see what is going to happen out on track. Of course, Premier 2 is also live, by the way, at this moment. I don't think it's live at the moment, but it will be live very soon. It's LRE Storm and MSC Stumpy who are taking to the action there for Premier 2. If you do want to catch, though, Premier 1, and very, very sole throat in terms of me, I, of course, will be taking to the stream here tonight. We've got 17 now in the lobby, I can report. But before we get going, obviously, let me take you through the track map in question. And I'm just having a look at the chat just to make sure if we have got a 5-minute delay. Yeah, we have got 5-minute delay, and somebody is doing an update, which is really, really unfortunate. Yeah, not sure who the person is that is unfortunately starting the update right now. It's unfortunate, obviously, for that to happen. There is a 5-minute delay. Hopefully we can get in within that 5 minutes, so we have got a little bit of delay on the start of the stream, which means I could have started at 8 o'clock instead of coming in about 5 to 8, which is not too bad. But yeah, it is going to be really good, and you can see the driver lineup there on your screen. Let's have a look, though, at the track map in question, of course. It is the Bahrain International Circuit, well, Sakhir International Circuit. 5.4 kilometers and then 3.3 mile, 15 turns, of course, waiting our drivers out on track. 3 DRS zones, of course, 1 down the start finish straight, 1 up towards turn number 4 with the same, well, without the same DRS detection zone as there was, of course, in last year's game. And then, of course, 1 down the old F2 pit straight down in towards turn number 11, of course, where they used to start the GP2 races back here in Sakhir in the mid-2010s. And, of course, many corners will catch people out. We saw plenty of spins around turn 11. Many drivers, of course, putting the throttle too heavy, basically, on the car, and that is why they ended up spinning. That was in Premier 1. Might see some of the same things potentially tonight in terms of spins, in terms of the setups as well. Could be really good. Bass Bremer saying let them join in mid-qualifying. Yeah, unfortunately, we have got this option of delivering a 5-minute delay, and I think it's probably fair to give a 5-minute delay rather than try and show a little bit of attitude, to be honest. In the chat there from Mr. Bass Bremer, I can see you there if you are tuning in to the stream as well, but obviously we are on a 5-minute delay. I'd rather see a 5-minute delay and give a person a chance to get the update done rather than not going without them and then they join a mid-qualifying and then we have to end up restarting the lobby, which has happened on other leagues that I've commentated on, and it is an absolute shame when it does happen because it not only ruins your time, it ruins my time and it ruins everyone else's time that is, of course, watching here tonight. At least, though, we should have some really good action. Funky Chicken saying he was on 85%. Was on 30% a couple of minutes ago. I did require the full 5 minutes. So that's quite good, at least. So hopefully the driver will be able to join in. I will outcast him in terms of the comments. In terms of the commentary box, I should say, on the left-hand side, the lobby. Kai is currently in, Hawk is in. We've got 18, potentially 19, though, to join, as I say. Blackbox there in the chat saying that it's going to be an entertaining season opener. Good luck, everyone, and thanks to the people. And unfortunately, I think the stream went down there. Apologies about that. If it did, just cut back to the driver lineup so my CPU's not going completely and utterly mad. But yeah, what I was saying there is obviously reading out Blackbox's comment saying, let's make this an entertaining season opener. Good luck, everyone, and thanks to the people watching from around the world. Of course, it is very good to see Mr. Blackbox here. And as I was saying there, PSGL F2, of course, hasn't been going according to plan for our Mr. Blackbox, but we have to believe in Blackbox. Certainly. T-Hawk there in the chat as well, saying my back end feels very loose around here. So if you're behind me, please keep a gap of 2 seconds for your own safety. Don't think anybody will be doing that, to be honest, out on track. In terms of the 2-second window that he wants, obviously, from other drivers out on track. But yeah, Nathan has joined. I think it's just Charlie Harris we're waiting on, and then we will be good to go, which, of course, is good, and we'll be getting going very soon indeed for the action out on track. And again, I apologise if we do keep cutting out and in. Nothing really I can control on my end to fix that. Unfortunately, I am streaming through Wi-Fi, so it can go from time to time, and I will turn off my iPad in just a second, obviously, when we do get going. But we wait, obviously, still for drivers to join. Just waiting on Charlie Harris, as I say, and they'll be good to go. Of course, 29 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit. We have got Charlie Harris now in the lobby, which is really good. And now that means everyone can start readying up, which is obviously very good. And I think that go-ahead has just been given in the chat for the go-ahead to be given for the lobby tonight. So, yeah, apologies. By the way, T-Hawk also saying in the chat, is the Great Ormond Street Hospital event happening again this year? Wish I could give you an answer to that. We don't know ourselves, to be honest. It would be nice to put an event on like this, but of course, we have got the 24 Hours of F1 that is going to be obviously hosted once again, I think, by the guys at LOE. So obviously there's that big event that I'm potentially going to be commentating on and potentially going to be taking you through once again. But if we do have an event, like a special event, like the Great Ormond Street Hospital event, we will let you know, of course. There is the driver lineup, by the way, to remind you of who is racing tonight. We have got the reserves, of course. I can see Fleddy certainly there in the lobby. So Fleddy is certainly. Yona saying he is nervous. I wouldn't be nervous if you got an F2 championship under your belt, Mr. Yona. Still, obviously, we have to wait and see how he will get on, as will all of these drivers, of course, out on track. So we are about to get going out on track. I'm just trying to time this in just to when we join the lobby. Unfortunately, I couldn't get an overlay for TML. We had a one for last night for EML. Couldn't get a one for TML, unfortunately. Our graphics man, I think, needs the sack as a result. It is, however, I'm not sure if my game has crashed, because I can't see anything on the bottom in terms of the facts that normally come up along the bottom end of the screen. My PS4 has gone very quiet as well. This is concerning, potentially. hopefully we're going to load into the lobby. In fact, I think we are now. I think it was just on a slight delay. So we can get you, hopefully, into the lobby. And there we go. There's the beautiful Bahrain circuit. And we are now ready to go. 20 drivers, of course, awaiting us out on track. And it is going to be interesting to see who is going to come out on top as well. I think just looking through the reserve lineup that we have got. I'll just flick back quickly to the driver lineup. Charlie Harris is in there. Looking at the reserves, in fact, I don't think we've got any reserves here tonight. Fleddy's in the Alpine. Fleddy is in the Alpine, and there's one more, I think, that is in there as well. So let me know in the comment section if you get that before me. But first, guys, now coming out on track. Of course, no Jensen, no Rudy. So there is going to be a new champion, of course, here in F1 this season. And FRL Hawk is the first man out on track, along with the Finn of Licala. Licala, I think, a former LFR driver, if I'm not mistaken. Now a DRT driver in terms of his pace. But Hawk is the first man out on track. Unfortunately for him, he's the first one out on track because I'm having to go on board with him on this lap. But obviously, the German will be hoping for a hopefully pretty good result here tonight. We've got Shane as well. Nervous in the chat. Yeah, you are so fast. Well, he's got no assists on, so might potentially struggle in terms of the racing here tonight. And there he is, Mr. Yona, out on track, to the fourth man out on track at this stage. What we will do, though, is go on board with Mr. Hawk, because he is on a lap at the stage. Volakongan being the other reserve. Thank you very much. Yeah, Volakongan being the other reserve. I knew there was two. Fleddy there, definitely I saw. He's in the Alpine. And Mr. Volakongan there in the Alfa Romeo, which of course he actually piloted last season in TML F2 or TTGaming F2 back in the day. But Hawk is the first man out on track, and now we've got to go on board with him on the run down in towards turn number 14 and 15. Looking to try and get obviously a good lap time on the board here is Hawk. And even though he said his rear end might be a little bit oversteery, let's find out over this 5.5 kilometer circuit here in Bahrain. On the run down towards turn number 1 with FRL Hawk, through the right-hander of turn number 1, through the left-hander of turn number 2, and then through the right-hander again of turn number 3. And looking good while he does it up the hill now in towards turn number 4, where of course there has been collisions in the past with Claire Verstappen, famously in the sprint race, where they went off to the left-hand side of the track there, of course in the long version of the race. 28.6 though from Hawk through the first sector, now coming through turn number 8 in towards turn number 8, where of course Mr. Stroll famously spun himself and hung himself pretty much upside down through that corner. He got his rear end, I think, by Daniel Ricciardo in that instance. Hawk though coming through the left-hander now of turn number 10. Very difficult, those corners on a downhill braking zone, of course. I was explaining last night how it would be difficult for the drivers. But Hawk now coming through the left-hander of turn number 11, and then through my favourite corner, car killer corner, out on track, through turn number 12. Get caught in the curve here, you will end up spinning, and that is not what you want to do. So we now come through the right-hander of turn number 13 with Hawk. And then on the run down in towards turn number 14 and 15. Pretty much a lap being completed here by the German on the braking zone in towards turn 14, then through 15, then on the run to the line, and Hawk immediately, I think, was going to go 28.7. Yeah, 28.7 to start off the night. Not a bad lap there at all from the German. Let's have a look, though, see if anybody else is on a lap at this stage. Charlie Harris there in the middle sector, Scott Bugner, middle sector. Gains class, though, QRT Yona, famously last season, now out on top, 28.5. Volakongan is on a lap. He's coming down in towards the final couple of corners. Past Bremen now goes quickest, 28.5. And, of course, the Dutchman out on top. And Nitro goes 1,000 behind him. No bad lap at all. Volakongan, though, absolutely obliterates them coming across the line. 28.1. That is more like it from Volakongan. And he has got a history of taking pole position in the past in TML F2. It's Volakongan out on top. Past Bremen there in second. Nitro there in third. Harry Banks on the lap as well, 106.6 in the middle sector. course, many people might have been playing on F1 Manager. That's why they haven't got enough practice in. That's why we've seen a few invalidations, I think, out on track so far as well. Harry Banks, though, to the line. Former champion, of course, here in TML. He goes 7th with a 28.6. Nathan Vanderberg as well on the run toward the line. He is not on a lap. Carlsbury through the first sector. Oh, as he snaps himself coming through turn number 6 and ends up spinning the car round, which is unfortunate. But Carlsbury there round. And they're down in 19th position. Blackbox the only one. He's coming out the pit lane now. The only one that's to the lap, or to be out on track, I should say, at this point. But out on top, Volokongan from Fleddy in second, Luke in third. Early stages of qualifying, and it's the first race of the season. So, obviously, drivers will be wanting to try and get on the board immediately in terms of their lap times. Volokongan down on top, he's good 10th and a half clear actually of Fleddy there in second, Luca there in third with Bass Bremer there in fourth, Nitro there in fifth, and Nitro only 1,000th of a second behind Bass Bremer, so be buoyed with confidence. But obviously, the higher you go in terms of lap time around here, the more difficult it is to actually try and improve on that said lap, and that is what the majority of drivers might be looking into try and towards doing. But Volokongan out on top, 32nd, Luca currently in third. We are 6 minutes pretty much now through qualifying. Blackbox is on the run down in towards turn number 11. He's currently on his out lap. Is the Talent Factory man. Of course, a couple of Talent Factory drivers in here, Kaya and Blackbox. And of course, they're representing the Talent Factory team, which of course famously held with Rudy last season. Of course, was runner-up to Jensen, I believe, in the championship last season. I might have just said something wrong there, to be honest. I'll have a double check just to be sure. Pretty sure it was Jensen who won the championship last season, unless I'm absolutely mistaken. I know Jensen was a former champion, but just trying to find if there's any archive the standings. I can't see any, which is not doing me the world of good. Here. Oh, it was Tom Noble who won the season, last season. He won by 11 points. Jensen second. Rudy in the end was fourth in that championship battle. Blackbox still the only man on a lap now as he comes now through right under of turn number 4, or the hill in towards the right hander of turn number 4. Volokongan out on top, leading second. Luca there currently in third position. 28.5 though from Blackbox through the first sector, not looking too bad at all. And now in towards turn number 8 is Blackbox through the right hander of turn number 8, and then into the difficult double head braking zone of turn 9 and 10. Get this right though, it is very, very, very good, and Blackbox does get that right. Beautiful, coming through to the braking zone there of turn 9 and 10. Just right on board with the engine noise as Blackbox there comes through the left hander of turn 11, then through the right hander of turn number 12. And Volokongan currently 112.1, but he's up there in the middle sector actually, Blackbox, compared to Volokongan. So not looking too bad at all. He'll go around, I think, Bass Bremer, Luca, that sort of area. 3rd, 4th, 5th position potentially on the cards here for Blackbox. In towards the right-hander of 14, then the right-hander again of turn 15. On the run to the line now with Blackbox, the Talent Factory man. Is going to try and get on top. He does. He goes quickest. 28 flat. And that is the Blackbox we like to see. Good in qualifying. It's a very wide open field, I've got to say, this season in F1, and anybody could actually take the championship. It is that wide open. Blackbox out on top, Volokongan there in second, Fleddy there currently in third, Luca and Bass Bremer 4th and 5th position, as Carlsbury, I believe, was on a lap. He's backed off though in the middle sector. Hawk is on a lap as well. He's 600s down to the first sector is the Hassman. Trying to see if there's anybody else preparing up for a lap as well. I think the Carla is going to go on to a lap, so we'll go on board with the Carla. Just right on board with somebody different. And towards turn 1 in the Alpine, of course. 29.073. Sparks flying off the rear end of the Alpine there, coming through turn 1. Then to the left-hander of turn 2 and then turn 3. Nixie saying in the chat, didn't he get rear-ended by Kvyat? Potentially, yeah. I think it was Kvyat. I know it was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. It was the second Bahrain Grand Prix, of course, that they held around here, and he got rear-ended up the backside and pretty much was hanging upside down through turn number 8. I remember that quite vividly. Licaro, though, through the first sector, not looking too bad whatsoever. Blackbox out on top, Volokongan in second, Fleddy currently in 3rd. Luca Basbrema 4th and 5th. Licala, though, he has got pace on his day, has Licala. And him, at this moment in time, 18th position, 129.073. A little way off Neymar, Scott Bugner in terms of their lap times. Only 1,000th of a second, actually, off Scott Bugner, but he's about a 10th and a half off Neymar. Through the middle sector. And that is more likely. He's 3.5 tenths up in the middle sector. He has got the pace. He just needs to believe in himself, I think. Out on track. We've got the likes of Fleddy, the Volokongan out on top towards the top end of the field as well. Who are currently on laps. But Licala now coming through the right hand of 14 and 15. Charlie Harris is retired. And that is coming through turn number 3. Another corner that caught quite a few people out in Premier last night. Licala, though, goes 15th ahead of Forza Brendan. He was on a lap and he's 500ths per second up on his lap. We're going board with Fleddy. In the meantime, Gaines class has just gone 3rd. There's a spinner through turn 11. That's a McLaren. I think that's Daniel VDV. VT8, I should say, who's gone around. Volokongan, though, 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector. The 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector, Volokongan. Looking to try and go, obviously, towards the quick end of the field here. Currently out on top, Black Box in 1st from Volokongan in 2nd. Nitro there currently in 3rd. And at this moment in time, Gaines class Fleddy 4th and 5th. Volokongan over to the line. Goes quickest for the 27.9. Not a bad lap there at all from Black Box there in 2nd. Nitro there in 3rd. And Fleddy on a lap 2.5 tenths up as well. So potentially he's going to improve maybe toward Black Box sort of area. As he now runs himself toward the line. Fleddy, he goes 2nd. Goes 2nd, does Fleddy. Found a bit of time in that final sector as well. 28 flat there from the former TTG man, now of course the as part of the QRT team. And Fleddy, of course, was part of the lineup, I think, in EML Premier, or certainly the lineup that was in the rosters chat. Fleddy was announced in terms of there. Scott Bugner, by the way, went 6th as well. He improved 28.3. He's a very quick man on his day. Of course, a former F2 driver back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. Taken a couple of seasons from to get back on the map here in TML. He's currently there in 7th position at this moment in time. Basbrema is on the lap. The Dutchman in towards the final couple of corners. I believe Bass has recently left Intrepid Esports. Of course, George Morgan's esports outfit. And Basbrema on the run to the line. Goes 9th. Stays 9th. 300ths per second improvement. Not bad at all from Basbrema. Harry Banks, former champion. 3 tenths down in the middle sector. Could potentially find time in the final sector. Volokongan now out on top. Elliott now into 2nd. Fleddy there in 3rd. Black Box there in 4th. We are 2/3 of the way through qualifying. Oh, as Harry Banks gets caught on the outside curb. Spins the car around. That's a spinella. And Harry Banks round coming through turn number 14, 15. But luckily he's got back going again. He's there in 12th position. Kai on a lap as well. The other Talent Factory driver, of course, that we've got here tonight. The other man, of course, Black Box being in 4th position. He's just going on to his lap time there now is Black Box. Bakaya on the run through the right-hander. On the right-hander now through 14 and 15. On the run toward the line is Kaya. Goes across the line and goes 8th. Not a bad lap there. Found 3/10 improvement in the end. 28.369 his current best. But Volokongan out on top. Elliott there in 2nd. Fleddy there currently in 3rd. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap. There's a Red Bull on a lap, and I think that's Neymar, who's actually backed off. Neymar's backed off. I thought he was going a lot quicker than the McLaren ahead of him. But Neymar has backed off his lap. Currently 16th, of course. And making that step, of course, from F2 to F1 last, or this season, I should say. F2 last season, of course. Neymar currently down there in 16th. Hawk once again on a lap, a 10th and a half up in that middle sector. The German now coming through the middle sector split. 106.4, not bad in the middle sector from Hawk. Found a lot of time coming out of turn 13. Rear end my butts in terms of his coming a little bit early on. He's looking very quick, I've got to say, is Hawk. Coming through the right-hander of turn 14, then through the right-hander of turn 15. On the run to the line out with Hawk. I think he might go 7th with this lap. Oh, and he does. 28.296. Call me Mystic James. Give me a fan. Volokongan out on top. Elliott there in 2nd. Fleddy there in 3rd. But for how long as Black Box comes to the line? Goes 3rd, and he lost a lot of time. He was up in the middle sector on Volokongan's time. And he's now pretty much 800ths per second off pole position. And I know he will be very disappointed. He might have had a curb moment coming out of turn 13, which maybe lost him that speed. Volokongan, though, currently in third. Luca on a lap as well. 28.3. Luca at this stage. Potentially going to try and improve in the middle sector. That comes through the left-hander of turn number 11. Then through the right-hander, of course, is turn number 12. Volokongan, Elliott, black boxes say round off the top three. Luca in the middle sector, 106.4. In the middle sector, not looking too bad as it now comes through in towards turns 14 and 15. AlphaTauri Man, of course, looking to be up towards the top end of the field. Might go 5th potentially with this lap. It's been looking quite good so far. More than a second covering the field at the stage with Charlie Harris out the session. Luca goes 2nd. Where did that come from in the final sector? 3.5 tenths of a second has gained you from basically 10th position where he was up to 2nd in the blink of an eye. That is unbelievable. Luca there into 2nd. Blackbox is not on a lap. Hawk is not on a lap. There is. Oh, excuse me. Oh. That is not good. Yawn already. That's the first one of the night. Many more, I think, potentially to come as well. Daniel V28 is on a lap. Invalidated currently in the middle sector. He's about to set onto a lap time very, very soon indeed. Good evening, by the way, to everyone that is tuning in. Big thank you, of course, to everyone that is tuning in. Big thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Next Level Racing. And we will show you, of course, the prize that everyone is potentially going to be winning in TML F1 this season after, of course, the end of qualifying with formation lap being off as well. It means I'm going to be absolutely rolling about in terms of my bedroom trying to get my curtains and that shut. But still, minute and 40 left to go in the session. Volokongan on top, Luca 2nd. Elliott there in 3rd. Daniel V28, though, is on a lap. Elliott, though, is also on a lap, and I think he's furthest on. Actually, no, down towards turn number 1. Ignore me. He's not on a lap there at this moment in time, but he will potentially improve as that lap goes on. Daniel, though, coming through the first sector. I think he was minimally up on his time. And the McLaren now coming through the right-hander of turn number 8. And then, of course, in toward the double left of turns 9 and 10. Currently out on top, though, Volokongan. Luca has retired. That is, I think, coming into the pit lane. There is a car on the inside of turn number 1, which I think is Blackbox on that lap. Yeah, Blackbox, I think, has just got out on track. And if that's the case, potentially we have got a little bit of a problem in terms of the timings. On the left-hand side, might be 30 seconds slow. Daniel through the middle sector, 3 tenths up, coming through turn 13. And the McLaren has got a little bit of cheeky slipstream. First time we're seeing this tonight. The McLaren of Bas Bremer giving them the slipstream down the straight. And Daniel now out of the way. Bas Bremer coming through 14. Then through the right-hander of turn 15. Volokongan out on top. Luca 2nd. Elliott there in 3rd. Where's Daniel though going to go with that slipstream effect? Only goes 10th. And I think, to be honest, it didn't really cost him that much time at all running in the slipstream. It didn't really gain him any time either. Elliott though running to the line. The RAC man goes quickest, 27.9. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Volokongan now responding on a lap. Potentially more improvements to go as we go through as well. Pretty much the session over with. Nitro has just gone third with a 28 flat. Good lap from him. And Volokongan is down in the middle sector. 400ths. He's got to find now. But that 400th of a second plus an extra 400th of a second to get onto pole position. Volokongan needs this lap time in right now to get obviously in, as Harry Banks is retired from the session. That's at the final corner. That's just on the left-hand side of the screen there. Volokongan on the run to the line. Goes quickest. Found a lot of time in that final sector. Didn't have any slipstream either. Nitro was not up on his time. Fleddy, however, is. He's 2 tenths up, and Fleddy now potentially done himself in terms of provisional pole. No, he goes third, and he was on the same lap time as Volokongan, actually, before he improved. So not a bad lap there at all from him. Scott Bugner is on a lap. You've got a Ferrari of Carlsbury coming through the final corner, I think, as well. But Scott Bugner, what can he do in the Mercedes? Coming through the middle sector. Oh, he's down this time. He's 3 tenths down on his time. Daniel on a lap, not at the moment. Bas Bremer is, though, a 10.5 up in the middle sector. Don't think he's going to be challenging for pole position unless he's found an absolute wicked final setup and final lap. But he doesn't. He goes 8th. Good lap, though, still by him. Forza Brendan not on a lap. That, my friend, is the end of qualifying. And it is Volokongan out on top. The first man to go into the 127s did take pole position in the end. Elliott there in 2nd, and then Fleddy there in 3rd. as well. Balboa Gaming, not sure what that is, my friend. Please speak English there in the chat. Unless we've got a little bit of a takeover going on. Oh, I'm in the wrong chat. I'm in TTML F2. Oh my goodness me. I'm in the wrong stream. TML F1, where you at, my lovely, lovely buns? There we go. Second covering the whole field, and Blackbox saying he didn't leave enough time to do a third run. Terrible. He's down there in 6th position. Would he have found 2/10 of a second, though, given the performances around him? Probably not so much. Volakongan though out on top. Elliott there in 2nd, who's a very quick driver for the RAC team. Of course, he was reserved, I think, last night in EML Premier. Fleddy there in 3rd as well for QRT. So not a bad lap there at all from Volakongan, from Elliott there in 2nd, Fleddy there in 3rd. F2, by the way, mistakenly went on their stream. They are live, by the way. Storm and Stumpy taking you through the action there. They have just gone on to lap 2, and Simply Superman, Nicholas Stum and Nick Houston currently a top 3 in that if you do want to catch the early action and the early stages of that race. If you do want to stay with us, though, we're going to go on a quick intermission break soon. After, I'll run you through, of course, the grid order. And let's follow Konga now on top from Elliott there in 2nd, Fleddy in 3rd, Nitro there in 4th, Luca in 5th, Blackbox there in safe gains class 7th, Bass Bramer, Nathan Clark, same lap time, 8th and 9th, Hawk there in 10th, Scott Bugner in 11th, Daniel V28 in 12th, Kaya in 13th, Neymar 14th, Brendan 15th, Nathan van der Berg as well, same lap time in 16th, Harry Banks in 17th, Colsbury 18th, Lacala 19th, and Charlie Harris, who didn't get a lap time in, right down at the back of the field. I will be quick to show my curtains and everything. If we see the looping advert, then I apologise, but I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Took a bit longer than 30 seconds, but I am here. I've now got a drink, and now we're ready to go for TML F1, and we are ready to go, of course, for the race here tonight in Bahrain. 29 laps, of course, away now. Drivers out on track. And we are about to get going straight away because the formation lap is not on, and the 5 relays are coming out here for round 1 of the championship in season number 8, and it is... Right down the way we go, and Volokung gets a very good start. Elliott as well, off the start very strongly indeed. Quite a few on a set of mediums, quite a few on a set of hards as well. Go through that in the meantime. Down in towards turn number 1, absolutely sailing down the inside there is Blackbox on the back of Nitro, trying to get the inside line. I think everyone's clean through in the background, which is good. Volakongan leads the way though. Elliott there in 2nd, Freddy already up to 3rd. Good start there from him. Luca there in 4th, Nitro there in 5th. He's going side by side with Gaines Class, who tries to get up the inside of him. Of course, Yona down the inside on the hard compound tyre, trying to get the job done. For Nitro there through, and he's into 5th. We've got a spinner further down the field. It's Daniel V28 who was round, and Neymar, I think, got caught up in that collision as well. So he's right down in the back of the field. There's a Haas down the inside there as well. Hawk on the back of Blackbox. This is going to be an interesting fight. Up the hill and towards turn number 9, and then, of course, dipping down in towards turn number 10. Hawk, though, not close enough. Bass Bramer, though, is down the inside of Hawk. Gets the job done. Beautiful move by Bass Bramer. And now, let's Nathan Clark into play. Hawk might have got forced wide there, potentially. But now, the Haas man under pressure and just forces the move there. Nathan Clark on Hawk. So he's into 9th. Hawk pushed out the way there slightly. Still, though, very good batting. And Hawk, I think, mentioned his rear end was a bit slidey. Looks it early on in this race. Volakongan, though, leading the way. Elliott there in 2nd. Fleddy there in 3rd. And a very good start by everyone so far as Kaya on the back of Hawk. Scott Bugner as well, potentially going for the move further down the field. But I think more immediately, Fleddy on the back of Elliott, looking very, very quick indeed. Look at the speed of the Alpine. He flies on by Fleddy down in towards turn number 1 and gets the job done. And he's through and he's into P2. And Blackbox is ahead of Gaines Class as well. Down in towards turn number 1. And Hawk diving it back down the inside of Nathan Clark. He's got a little bit too deep as Hawk. Now Nathan Clark tries to whip around the outside. Good stuff though by Hawk, gets the job done. Scott Bugner's fighting side by side as well with Kaya. He also gets that move done. Scott Bugner through and he's in for 11. Nathan Clark is now going to settle down, I think, in behind. And Bass Bramer down the inside of Gaines class as well. Has a bit of contact. He left himself enough room there. Bass Bramer's full on the gravel as well. Pretty much got rear end damage, I think, as a result of that as well. And Bass Bramer is round. Daniel, I think, is going to be let through here. And Bass Bramer is round and has got rear wing damage potentially on that car. Unfortunate, but I think it was his own doing, as is that Kaya, who was spun. Coming through turn number 8 as well. Harry Banks going side by side with that Forza Brennan. Sorry, going side by side with Carlsbury just ahead of shot. And now, oh, and there's been absolutely carnage. Somebody's been killed. Charlie Harris is round. He has been absolutely done like an absolute kipper there. He's down there in 18th, and he's probably thought the contact model there has given him absolutely no idea in terms of that move. That's really unfortunate, to be honest. Really unfortunate for Charlie Harris. Name alone Forza Brendan, think had a legal overtake, and that's why they've let him back through. So Charlie Harris there in 16th, unfortunately, got caught up in that corner. But Volakongan under pressure now from Fleddy for the race lead. This is easy from Fleddy. Absolutely saunters on by. New fastest lap of the race and new race leader as well. Fleddy leads the way from Volakongan there in second. Merple, by the way, in the chat saying, will Volakongan take it? Answers on a postcard, I think, from these first laps. Bass Bramer has retired off track. That's a weird one, and that is a VSC. So VSC deployed out on track. Might get deployed up to full safety car. It is off track, however. Bass Bramer, that was gone straight on, coming through turn number 14. And I can only think there's two logical reasons to me that has happened. One, he's had a complete failure in terms of pedals. Or two, he's done that potentially on purpose. And I don't think it's the... I hope it's not the latter. If it is, though, it is only a VSC. But if it is, I mean, come on. It's F1, 3 laps into the season, and you do that? Really? Really? Forza Brendan having to stick the Delta sign there as well, and Daniel, he needed spun, I think, coming through turn number 6 and 7. But yeah, unfortunately, 30 though leads the way. Volakongan in second, Elliott there in third. VSC, of course, is out on track. Neymar, by the way, came in the pit lane after a bit of front wing damage from that collision with Charlie Harris, so he is round and he's down there in 19th position on that set of medium compound tyres. We get back underway. Nitro was going to drive through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. That is a shame there from Nitro's perspective, as Elliott is under pressure from Luca. Luca has got very quick pace, of course, former TTG man, I believe. Bass Bramer, by the way, his wheel disconnected. His wheel disconnected, so I thought it was an equipment failure. Either pedals disconnecting, wheel disconnecting, that's what it was. So Bass Bramer, unfortunately, out of the race, wheel disconnected, and that's unfortunate. So I'll take what I said back. Nitro back in the pit lane, though, for that drive-through penalties. Luca attacks Elliott down in towards turn number 1. AlphaTauri in the back of the Ferrari, diving down the inside line. Should get the job done. Elliott there still on the inside line, though. Luca gives him the space and gets the move done. Beautiful racing that. Elliott now going to fight back on the comeback in towards turn number 4. Of course, Elliott's got DRS from Volakongan as well in the meantime, just before, of course, on that straight. But Luca Throoney's into third. That is what we like to see. That is racing right there. Elliott there in 4th, Blackbox there in 5th. But Fleddy leads the way. Volakongan there in 2nd, Luca in 3rd. Everything now hopefully beginning to settle down. In terms of the position changes early on, let's have a look at them now. 6th position gain for Carlsbury. There's somebody round in the background nearly there. That was a Mercedes of Scott Bugner, and my goodness me, I think a bit of brown stuff came out there from the Mercedes. Just sideways coming out of turn number 8, and that is him now off the back end of Hawk and out of DRS range, coming down the straight in towards turn 11. But in terms of position gains, as I say, Carlsbury's gained positions. Nathan van der Berg has gained 6 positions as well. Charlie Harris has now gained 6. He's just got the move done on the collar in towards turn number 11. It's a nice move there by the Mercedes. Didn't catch that on the stream. Put that on the mini-map on the right-hand side. But Fleddy leading the way from Volakongan in 2nd. Luca there in 3rd. Most positions lost, by the way, Nitro. Drive-through penalty, of course, was served. And that is why he's down 13 positions off the start of this race. Fleddy though leads, Volakongan in 2nd, Luca there in 3rd. Blackbox though on the back of Elliott. Look at the speed of the AlphaTauri. It's like he's just been shot out of a cannon in towards turn number 1. Blackbox Throoney's into 4th. Elliott there in 5th. Running wide slightly there was Hawk in the background. Here comes Elliott trying to fight back though. No DRS for Black Box, but he doesn't need it. Elliot's not closing in, and they're going to settle for 4th and 5th in towards turn number 4. Oh, as I was running board there, just about to say, Harry Banks was catching the back of Kaya, and now, unfortunately, he's not, because he's spun and he's lost a few positions there, so Harry Banks round. Luckily, no foot wing damage on the car. I think he's just gone for a spin on the exit of turn 3 on the curb. And that's him down in 16th, the former TML champion, of course. Floody, though, leading the way. Volakongan in 2nd. Luca there in 3rd. Still the battle 4th rages on. Black Box and Elliot. I will get the tyres back up, by the way. In terms of the tyre strategies, by the way. Floody on a set of mediums. Hawk on a set of mediums, Scott Buckner on a set of mediums, Nitro, Neymar, Forza Brennan, who's also been in the pit lane as well. They're all on a set of medium compound tyres as Carlsbury and Kaya going side by side in towards turn 11. I think that was easy there for Carlsbury. Ferrari through on the hat and he's through and he's into 11th position. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 and I think that was a spin slightly for Neymar down the field. But he has recovered that spin and he's still going, which is really good to see. As Kaya again on the back of Carlsbury potentially in towards turn number 1. Bass Bramer saying, yeah, he's so sorry. His wheel disconnected. Neymar on a red bar. I don't think Lewis Hamilton is going to be happy when he sees his performance. Yeah, totally agree, I think, with that Conti in the chat. And yeah, he's down in the 18th position. And unfortunately, in a Red Bull, he's doing absolutely appallingly so far compared to what Lewis Hamilton's been doing in a Mercedes in real life. Kaya, though, on the back of Carlsbury, 11th and 12th. Kaya not going to be close enough, though, to the back of Carlsbury. In terms of the strategy calls, by the way, I've commentated around here in Bahrain the first couple of races, and here in Bahrain, I've tended to see set of medium compounded tyres go up until around lap 14, lap 15. Drivers have tended to pit in, also on a set of hards from that period as well. One-stop strategy it will be. Oh, as Gaines Class goes very wide and Hawk is now going to try and sweep underneath him. And do you know what? I think he might be letting him through here. Yeah, he does. Hawk through and he's into 6th. Gaines Class down into 7th. And Merple also saying Conti got married. I think he did. So happy nuptials, we say over here in the UK. I was trying to find the right phrase, but I couldn't. But happy nuptials, I think, to Mr. Conti and Miss... I forgot the name. Hang on, I saw it on Instagram earlier on, as the kids do these days. Oh my god. My brain is absolutely freezing. That's what I get for trying to go on other stuff instead of focusing on the race action out on track. Babs, that's Fleddy leads the way. Volakongan in 2nd. Luca there in 3rd. Elliot on the back there of Black Box. Bass Bramer though leaving the session. And I don't blame him. Wheel disconnecting. Worst thing to do. Kaya, though, absolutely sends it down the inside of Carlsbury. Surely he's gone way too deep. And that is a pretty similar thing to what we saw with Guan Yu Zhou and Lewis Hamilton, of course, in real life in 2022. So that is now Carlsbury through and he's in for 11th. That battle is going to rage on quite well. Fladdy Low leads the way. Volakongan there in 2nd. Luca there in 3rd. Black Box in 4th. Elliot there in 5th. Conti, yeah, he did get married, which is really good news, and I think it might be the first marriage in TML history that we have had as well. So we'll take on that, and hopefully you are all having a very good night in celebrating. It is indeed, Babs. I remembered it. It came to the top of my head eventually. Freddie out on top, though. Volakongan in 2nd. Luca there currently in 3rd. Big thank you, though, obviously. A big congratulations, obviously, to Babs and to Conti for getting married as Harry Banks is round. That is not the wedding present I think he'd be hoping for there down in 17th. But Harry Banks there down in 17th, struggling early on in this race. Might need a safety car or two to come into place. Charlie Harris has picked up the first 3-second penalty of the night as well. Freddie, though, leads the way. 2.4 seconds the gap. He's trying to do what Kazizel did, of course, around here in, I think it was PSGL, if I'm not mistaken, where he took the race from the scruff of the neck and took that race win. And again, further down the field, Carlsbury and Kaya, that battle is going to rage on because the Hat's now side by side with the Ferrari down in towards turn number 1. Should be job done. Kaya pulls across slightly. Oh, and Carlsbury goes into the back of him. Carlsbury into the back. Kaya there hangs on for 11th. And Carlsbury there in 12th. Charlie Harrison 13th. Ricardo there in 14th. Lap 8 out of 29. Fleddy leading the way. 2.6 seconds, the gap over Volakongan in second. Luca there in third, Black Box there in fourth, Elliot there in fifth, and it's Hawk, Gaines Class, Scott Bugner, Nathan Clark, and Nathan van der Berg there in 10th, and Kaya was 11th, but he's just spun coming out of turn number 6, and that's what we mean by overdoing it in terms of the throttle. Kaya, I think, got tapped in the rear end as well by Carlsbury just before that, what we rode on board with a little bit earlier on. And Kaya now has gone for spin. He was 11th, he's now down in 15th, which is unfortunate. Now he's off the back of that train in front of him, and potentially, unless he's got a nitro up his rear end, I don't think he's got any chance of getting back to that DRS train, perhaps. Tom, by the way, though, RSC Tom in the chat, good to see him there. And Ale Elias, which is, of course, the French for... Come on, Ali, get a move on. Fleddy leads the way from Volakongan in second. Luca there in third, and Luca now sees Volakongan potentially as a threat in front of him. 4.5 tenths per second down in towards turn number 1. AlphaTauri on the back of the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to get the job done? Not quite. Elliot on the back of Black Box. Not quite either. And everyone, I think, just running in line astern down in towards turn number 1. But we're on board with this battle for second, because Luca, once again, may have Volakongan eventually in his back pocket. Kaya decides to retire in the pit lane. That is disappointing. I know frustrations do get the better of drivers sometimes, but come on, there's points available for the top 10 in TML. Even further, of course, I think, in positions. Kaya, though, leaving the session. Disappointing. I can understand it. I probably would have done the same thing if I was pretty much at wit's end in terms of my performances. But Kaya, it's the first race of the season. Come back stronger than ever, my friend. Luca on the back of Volakongan. Volakongan really has dropped off in terms of pace compared to Fleddy. Fleddy is 3.5 seconds up the road, and there's no sign of that coming down at this stage. Of course, F1 racer last season, Fleddy. Volakongan was in F2 last season. Same with Luca, who was in F1, and Black Box, of course, who was in F1 in, I think, season 6. And at this moment in time, doing a good job. Luca in third position, Black Box there in fourth. But they're trying to hunt down Volakongan. Potentially his pace is now beginning to tell. Out on track as well. Apologies about that little slight burp. As Luca on the back of Volakongan. Coming on to lap 10 we go. Fleddy leads the way. Volakongan second. Luca though in third. I think Luca, if I was him, I'd probably go for the move down in towards turn number 1. And there it goes. Luca down the inside line. AlphaTauri on the back of the Alfa Romeo gets the car stopped. Wonderful move by Luca. Stooney's into second. Volakongan now, though, will try and get the up and under. He's got the DRS. Has Luca in front of him. He hasn't, actually. And Volakongan could try and fight back, but I think he's going to let this one go for now. Luca there into second. Volakongan there in third. Black Box there in fourth. Very good performances so far. Oh, guys out on track. Do you know what? Hawk is doing a phenomenal job. He's normally at the back end of the field fighting out for the wooden spoon. So far, so good in terms of his no assist quest here in TML. He's doing a good job there in 6th position. Gaines Class as well, doing a good job there in 7th. Nyona does look up to speed. Maybe not the speed as what we saw in F2 a few seasons back, but certainly he has got the speed. Maybe he can even try and get the move done on the back of Hawk as well. Babs, by the way, has just messaged me on Instagram, which I think is very nice indeed. She is watching the stream live along with Conti. Very good. I couldn't think of anything else better to do since I've been married. Just listen for a Northern Easterner on your TV screen, shouting at cars going around the track for the next 29 laps. And that is my life summed up in literally 100 words. Fleddy out on top, Luke in second, Volakongan there in third. Babs, by the way, did message me and said, hi, thanks, just heard the live stream, and some love hearts on there as well, which is really good. And that is the respect we always show, of course, here in TML to all of our family, whether they are miles away like they are in the Netherlands or here right home in the commentary box. Nathan van der Berg on the back of Nathan Clark, the two Nathans side by side. Easy as you like for the Aston Martin down and towards turn 1. Nathan Clark in second, and Elliot has just spun out of turn number 1 by himself. So Elliot through down into 8th position, now potentially down into 9th, because Nathan van der Berg and Nathan Clark are on the back as well, in towards turn number 4. And Elliot defends the position as Scott Bugner and Hawk are going side by side. Scott Bugner was down the inside of turn number 4 there, and the Mercedes is through, and he's in to 7th position at this stage, or 6th position I should say. Hawk there down in 7th. Fleddy, though, still asserting his dominance, 4.5 seconds, and to be fair, he is consistently pulling away at about 4-5 tenths a second a lap. Luca has got absolutely no pace compared to Fleddy at this stage. I mean, it's not really surprising. Scott Bugden gains first side by side again. Scott Bugden now through he's into fifth, 2 positions gained for him on this lap. But yeah, in terms of Lucas Pace, he's there in the second position. Volakongan there in third, Blackbox there in fourth. V19 there in the chat saying, interestingly, Elliot potentially got pushed off track. Didn't see that on the stream. You only saw what we saw and what I was covering. Apparently, he got pushed off track. If that's the case, if he feels hard done by that, then obviously he can report it to the stewards and obviously try and get a penalty put on to the driver who might have caused that. Potentially, not going to name any names. I think it might have been either Luke or Volakongan potentially, because I think he was in that battle, if I'm not mistaken. Blackhawks there currently in fourth as well. Oh, and the Mercedes is round of Scott Bugner. Oh my god, and I've just turned everything off. Oh, that is not good. Oh my god. Apologies, guys. I have just literally turned everything off. Yeah, sorry. I've just put my foot on a switch underneath my desk, and now you can't see anything, which is really good. I'm gonna have to turn on the PS4. I'm gonna have to get re-invited into the lobby if I can as well. Oh my god, it's not that good. Not great news whatsoever. I apologise. We are still live, I hope. We've just gone completely black screen, and it's because I flicked the switch underneath. I've caught it by accident, and now we haven't got the stream up at all, and something is happening. Hopefully it is going to reload the capture card. Oh my god, this is terrible. Last night it was trying to get the lobby in, and then tonight is trying to get everything else back. And yeah, I don't know what has gone on here. Something has happened. Right. Hang on. Having a few issues here. Not sure what's going on. Right, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end the stream now. I'll try and get back live in about a couple of minutes. I will be back in a couple of minutes, but I think everything has just suddenly gone down, which is not that good. That is not great. Oh, my PS4 is restarting. That might be why. My PS4 is restarting. Is it that one? There we go. You can all hear me now, I hope. Elgato was firing back up as well. Yeah, not sure, as I say, what happened there. Yeah, just a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But you can see I'm running back into the lobby and run back into the game. And I will be with you once again in a very short time. So in around, hopefully about 30 seconds time, when I join the lobby, we'll get back. But what we'll do is, while I try and sort everything out, is obviously play the sponsorship advert, of course, of Neverlast Racing. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds if I don't switch OBS and everything off again. So I'll be back in 30 seconds. And literally right on cue, hopefully you can all hear me now, we've got everything up back on the stream, which is really good. We are back in, and we're back live once again. Lap 15, as I say, we are missing a couple of the pit stops. Gaines Class in, Hawk in, Scott Bugden, Neymar, and Forza Brennan, they've already been in for another set of hard compounded tyres as well. So you haven't really missed much, I hope. Lap 15 out of 29. Fleddy leads the way, Luca in second, Volokongan in third. They're continuing on that set of compounded tyre. Gaines Class and Hawk, 14th and 15th position on the run now down in towards turn number 1 out of the pit lane. As I can hear myself, I don't know where it's coming from. Oh, no wonder I had volume on the stream. Apologies. Thought I could hear two of myself there. Hawk on the back of Scott Bugden coming out the pit lane. And Hawk is right down towards the back end of the field there, coming out the pits. Fleddy though leading the way. Luca there in second. Volokongan in third. Black Box in fourth. Elliot there in fifth. Only position changes are, I think, Gaines Class and Hawk coming in the pit lane. And Scott Bugden are also coming in the pit lane. Apart from that, Elliot is now up to fifth. Everyone else, I think, has gone up a position as a result as well. So you haven't really missed much. Haven't missed any overtakes. Thank goodness for that. We're back off. Fleddy, though, leading the way. When's he going to come in the pit lane? I think it might be this lap around, potentially. No, he's going to continue on for at least one more lap. So Fleddy continues on. 5.6 seconds the gap. Luca there in second. Volokongan there in third. And there is Black Box into the pit lane. And that is a strategy call I like to see. That is going bold early. And that, I think, has just pulled him off potentially in terms of a podium finish here. Because that is a really good move. And even though Fleddy now, it was 7 seconds up the road basically to Black Box. Black Box is going to be well further down. Fleddy doesn't pit in and he goes an extra 3 laps. That 7 seconds will be eaten back into very easily indeed. So Black Box coming out the pit lane. There is Harry Banks just coming down in towards turn 1. And Gaines Class is retired from the pit. In the pit lane. Gaines Class is retired in the pit lane. Not sure what has occurred there. And he's down in 15th. But Fleddy leads the way. Luca there in second. Volokongan there in third. Not sure what happened with Gaines Class. Hopefully we will get something in either terms of the stream or in terms of the Discord server. But as I say, we are back live. Yeah, apologies. Maze was saying to me on Discord as well. If you go to friend that's in the lobby, you can join through their profile. Yeah, did that, but at least I got an invite already from Neymar. It was an old invite that I hadn't used, so got that in, and that's why we're live still. Fleddy though leading the way. When is he going to decide to come in the pit lane? I think this lap around. Has to be this lap around, and he does. Fleddy into the pit lane. Got to get the car stopped. He does. Just before the pit lane exit, Luca in, Volokongan in, and do you know what? I think all the hard runners will be in here at this point as well. Don't want to carry the hards on for as long as possible. Nathan Clark, however, continues on in the battle of the Nathans. So Nathan Clark leading the way now out in front. Fleddy there, coming out the pit lane. Where is Black Box? Out of the final corner. Easy for Fleddy. Coming out the pit lane, he must be about 7 seconds out in front. And do you know what? If he's not careful, he's going to be side by side with his teammate here. And if Lecala wasn't in a party with him, and if he's not in a party with him, this could be potentially quite dangerous because Fleddy there, Volokongan by the way is there ahead as well. He's there in 5th position, Black Box there in 6th. But look at Black Box, he's gained ahead of Luca. Luca, I think, got held him in the pit lane by Volokongan coming in. And Luca now is in 7th position, down in the net P4. Black Box now in the podium. Really, really good stuff. As now Black Box tries to set about going for Volokongan. He's like a bit like Bambi on ice at this stage, Volokongan. So Black Box is going to try and weather, Volokongan is going to try and weather this storm, but here comes Black Box right on the back of him. Coming out of turn 8, and then in towards the double left of turns 9 and 10. 17 out of 29. Nathan Clark, Cosby, Fleddy, Lecala, top 4, Volokongan, Black Box, Luca, Harry Banks, Elliot, Nathan VDB, top 10. And then it's Scott Bugler, Charlie Harris, Daniel Hawk, and Nightfall top 15, Neymar and Forza Brennan still going on at the back of the field. Nathan Clark, though, leading the way. Surely he's going to have to come in because he'll be in around this sort of area. Elliot Vanderberg, Scott Bugler, that sort of area. Nathan Clark continues on out in front. From Colesbury there in second. Colesbury surely got to come in the pits. He continues on as well. Lecala on the back of Fleddy, luckily giving them the bit of a double, and Lecala's into the pit lane as well. Here comes Black Box still on the back of Volokongan. This is going to be the battle now for a net second position. And Black Box, is he going to go hard early? He will, down the inside line. I think he realises that Volokungan hasn't got the pace compared to him. And Black Box is through and he's into second position. Really good stuff there by Black Box. Volokungan there into third, Luca there in fourth, as well as now Volokungan tries to get on the back of him. Be so slow on the exit, and that is Black Box pulling away by 2.5 tenths. And unfortunately for him, he's now down in that net P4 position. Luca as well is dropping off the pace slightly. Harry Banks still out there on track. It's only Nathan Clark, Carlsbury and Harry Banks we are waiting to see pit in. Everyone else out on track is still going at this stage. But Nathan Clark leading the way from Carlsbury in second, Fleddy there in third, Black Box in fourth, Volokungan fifth, Luca, Harry Banks, Elliot, Nathan Vanderberg and Scott Bugner top 10. Continue to run on board though with actually Lacala and Hawk. That is a concern. We have just lost our host. Hopefully it's not me now that is the host, because it's going to take a little bit of time to get back up and running again. Hulk gets very close there to the back of Lacala. I think he actually made a little bit of contact there with him. Down in towards turn number 11. But out in front, currently, Nathan Clark from Carlsbury. But Nathan Clark into the pit lane. Here is Hawk on the back of Lacala. 13th and 14th position. Nathan Clark, I think, is going to be John maybe ahead of these guys. Coming out of the pits. In fact, it's going to be miles ahead of these guys. Oh, it's Carlsbury spun out the lead. Carlsbury spins out of the lead of the race. Fleddy up to the lead. And that was easy in the end for Fleddy. He was going to be worrying about Carlsbury. Need not worry anymore. Carlsbury down in second. Has just spun. And Black Box there in third. Volokungan there in fourth. And now pretty much going to be right on Carlsbury's coattails. And again, bit of throttle out of turn number 1. And that unfortunately is Carlsbury round out of turn number 1. And that was him spinning out of the corner. There's another spinner and that's Neymar round again. So Neymar round again. And I think he might have a bit of front wing damage as well. Yeah, Neymar I think has got... Oh no, he's got right side and plate damage. Which is unfortunate. Hawk, by the way, through on Lacala. I'm going to avoid, by the way, touching that switch now. We've got 11 laps pretty much to go. I don't want the stream to go off like it did then. Luckily, though, everything I think is back working fine. Report to me if it's not. Neymar retires in the pit lane. And again, not surprising, there's no real chance of a virtual safety car or a safety car at this point. But as I say, let me know in the comment section if everything's back to normal. If it isn't, let me know and I'll try and sort things out on the fly. Fleddy leads the way. Carlsbury there in second. Black Box there in third. Volokungan there in fourth. And Carlsbury into pit lane after, of course, spinning out on track. So there he is down there in second. Volokungan there in third. Luca there in fourth. Harry Banks still continues on. He's obviously going set us off compound size right towards the end. Nathan Clark and Nathan Vanderberg, though the two Nathans again. Going side by side in towards turn number 1. Williams through on the Aston Martin, and he is through and he's into 7th position, which will be 6th position when Harry Banks comes into the pit lane as well. Nice move there by Nathan Clark. Both around the same pace, actually, the two Nathans on this game. Really good move, and obviously through as Lacala and Hawk get a little bit onto each other. Carlsbury is fresh out the pit lane and fresh across the grass. That's not going to do him the world of good at all. Knife's gone through, Hawk's gone through, Lacala's gone through, and Carlsbury has just been eaten up like a swamp alligator as Daniel has spun as well. And Luca, I think, has spun coming through turn number 8. So Luca has spun out of a potential podium position. Luca has spun, and that now puts Fleddy, Black Box, and Volokungan in the podium positions. First, second, and third. Luca now down in 8th. And Hawk and Lacala got very close to each other. I think it was Hawk more down the inside of Lacala, and Lacala turning in on Hawk. Might have been seen differently though by the German. The German though is on the wrong strategy. Should have went mediums. Should have went hard mediums. I think that probably would have been the better strategy at this point in the race. Fleddy though leading the way. 3.1 seconds the gap. Black Box there in second. Volokungan there in third. Harry Banks in fourth. Then Elliot in fifth. Nathan Clark, Nathan Vanderberg, Luca, Scott Bugner, and then Charlie Harris rounding off the top 10. Down in towards turn number 1, nothing really happening. Elliot on the back of Harry Banks. There's a potential move here. Obviously fresh mediums against wearing hards for this move. And do you know what? I think Elliot might go for this. even though he's deracing down the straight. If I was Elliot, and I was speaking in French to him at this point, even though I don't know much French apart from au revoir, which is goodbye, which I will say at the end of the stream, Elliot, on the back of Harry Banks, is 4th and 5th position. And Elliot, ideally, doesn't want to be held up too long by Harry Banks as he comes now down the straight, coming in towards turn 9 and 10. Around the outside of turn 9 and 10, this would be great if he could pull this off. Harry Banks goes in a little deep. Elliot's desperately trying to get the move done. But if I was Elliot, or if I was his race engineer, I'd be definitely telling them not to get the move done, but to save ERS. He's got 5% of ERS coming into the braking zone now of turn 11. As has, though, the driver ahead of him, Harry Banks. Freddy, though, leading the way. Black Box in second. Volakongan there in third. Freddy looks like he's got this. The hards are beginning to get better on temperature compared to Black Box's mediums. Volakongan's mediums there as well. Elliot, though, on the back of Harry Banks. 4th and 5th position. Right down the straight. And Harry Banks thought was going to come in the pit lane there. He doesn't. Elliot now needs to get this job done. ERS has not been used up. Now he used it up in the second phase, and I think he's going to have to try and go for the move in towards turn number 1. It's easy from Elliot down the inside. Harry Banks forced off wide. Nothing he can do about that. He carried too much speed himself into the corner, and Elliot's through and he's into 4th, and that was easy. So Elliot through and he's into 4th, and looks set for that 4th position actually, because Nathan Clark is around 3 seconds off him at this stage. As I was just taking a slight break, there's Nitro was decided to retire into the pit lane. So Nitro there out of the race. It's unfortunate in terms of obviously not picking up any sort of points. Point system, by the way, for this season, pretty much full points for every single position. I don't know why people are retiring. You could pick up 1 point for 19, 2 points for 18, 3 points for 17, 4 points for 16, so on and so forth. You get the 30 points for the winner. Points are available for everyone. I don't see why drivers decide to retire, honestly. I really don't. But Floody leads the way, Black Box in second, Volakongan in third, and the race has gone a little bit quiet at this stage. The Alfa Romeo on the back of the Alfa Tauri. Black Box against Volakongan. I think it's still going to be Black Boxed in towards turn number 1. He was going to try and get this move done, but Fleddy leading the way. Black Box in second, Volakongan in third. Battle for second is the closest one out on track, so we'll focus on this one more immediately for now, with 6.5 laps to go, of course, out on track, and Fleddy holding his own, holding the domination out in front, and looking good while he does that. By the way, because of my the state of my voice, by the way, after giving my all in Premier last night, there won't be any interviews this week. There will be interviews back next week while I have got Discord and everything back up and running. So no, there was a few issues with Discord earlier on, and that's why I'm just commentating through OBS. That means I would have to go into Discord and get into a call, and then it would disconnect after a minute, which it did a little bit earlier on when I was trialing it out. Fleddy though leading the way, Black Box in second, Volakongan in third. Close battle beginning to develop. Nathan Clark and Harry Banks. And they're looking very good at this moment in time. Obviously, Harry Banks is still yet to come in the pit lane. Do you know what? He's expecting a safety car, and he's not going to get one. He may as well come in now, cut his losses, go for the set of soft compound tyres towards the end of the race. And I think that's probably the best thing to do. Lecalo and Hawk, by the way, were battling. I'm not sure if they had contact a little bit earlier on. Lecalo and Hawk, maybe more rivals than foes foes than friends potentially there. Nathan Clark though again on the back of Harry Banks, running in towards turn number 1. Is he going to try and get this move done in towards turn number 1? No, but I think Luca might on the back of Nathan van der Berg. And he's not close enough either. Actually, a little bit too deep, the Aston Martin, in towards turn number 1. And now through turn number 3, just ahead, Nathan Clark on the back of Harry Banks. Surely going to try and get the move done here. In towards turn number 4, he's a little bit too far back. Tries to go around the outside of turn number 4. Nathan Clark on fresh mediums, Harry Banks on all hards. Giving him the cold finger around the outside. Beautiful move by Nathan Clark. Don't care how many old tyres you're on. Nathan Clark waltzes around the outside, and Harry Banks says, "You know what? I'm gonna hold up the AlphaTauri. While I do that, I'll let my teammate through." But he decides, also, I think, wisely, to let Luca through, who had the traction off turn number 8, and obviously Luca and Nathan Vanderberg through in there into 6th and 7th respectively. Harry Banks trying to make something out of this race. He's going to be fighting out, unfortunately, for Forza with Brendan, I think, further down the field for the wooden spoon. He might be on the back of Hawk before the end of the race if he is very, very lucky, but obviously still going strong, the guys further down the field. Premier 2, by the way, if you're wondering how that has been going on in Premier 2. Nitro saying, thought it was only in the top 10. No, my friend, it is the top 19 who get points here this season in TML, and it is under hashtag points system in the Discord channel, so that is why. But Freddie leading the way, Blackbox in 2nd, Volakungan there in 3rd, Harry Banks finally relinquishes his position into the takedown. He comes. Luca, Nathan Clark and Nathan Vanderberg are going to be the battle, I think. 5th, 6th, 7th. Scott Bugner not entirely out of contention here as well. He's on a set of hard compound tyres and he's not entirely out of contention at all. Oh, there's Nathan Vanderberg on the back of Nathan Clark. 5th and 6th, sideways there, the Williams. And Nathan Vanderberg trying to get this job done in the Aston Martin on the back there of Nathan Clark. Williams against Aston Martin. Aston Martin for now hanging on grimly, and he's doing a good job in this battle. It has been a really good battle, I've got to say, all through the race. They deserve a lot more credit, I think, than what they're due currently. But if they battle, final 3 laps of the race, I will be very, very excited to see, of course, what happens out on track. But it's Floody that leads away. Blackbox in 2nd, Volakungan in 3rd, Elliot Devon 4th, Nathan Clark there in 5th, Nathan Vanderberg 6th, Lucas 7th, Scott Bugner 8th, Charlie Harris 9th, Cosby there in 10th, Daniel Lacala, Hawk, Harry Banks, and Forza Brendan, the top 15, who will be scoring the minimum of 5 points that you can get for 15th position. I will get the point system next week, by the way, just to take you through, of course, what are available, as Nathan Vanderberg sets his sights again on his old rival and his older Nathan, better half Nathan, I think, Nathan Clark. Nathan Vanderberg, though, this time the better half, and down the inside and towards turn 1 gets the job done. Luke was very close to the back there of Nathan Clark, and Nathan Clark gets the better run compared to Nathan Vanderberg, and the two Nathans again are fighting side by side. Up the hill and towards turn number 4, Williams against Aston Martin. And the Aston Martin, just a better thing, comes down on top. Nathan Clark is still there side by side with him, but it is the Aston Martin that gets out on top. So Nathan Clark 5th, Nathan Vanderberg 5th, Nathan Clark 6th, Luca 7th. At least it's not Brock and Block that I'm commentating on tonight. The two Nathans doing a very good job. And you know what? They've had a really good battle. They respect each other out on track. Soon as I say that, how on earth did I know that was going to happen? He's waited up from at least. He let him back through. That's good. I was going to say there, and up until that point, it was a very clean battle. And then he's just gone and ruined it. It's Nathan on the back of Nathan. The Williams against the Aston Martin. Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, it happens. It happens. Down in towards turn 10, it's difficult to pinpoint your braking anyways. When the car in front of you and brake boards obviously not there in towards the corner. That is why we have seen Nathan Clark down in 7th position. And in fact, I think he's got damage potentially. He's lost the 2nd now to Nathan Vanderberg. So has he got potential damage on that car? He's going to continue on. But it looks like he is struggling, maybe in terms of battery as well. He's got 0% battery, and Scott Bugner is going to eat him up like a steak sandwich in towards turn number 1. Mercedes on the back of the Williams. Doesn't get the move done from there. Scott Bugner and Charlie Harris doing a good job there, 8th and 9th position. But Fleddy leading the way from Blackbox there in 2nd. Volakongan there in 3rd. Elliot there in 4th, and Luca 5th, Nathan Vanderberg in 6th, Nathan Clark 7th, Scott Bugner 8th, Charlie Harris 9th, Cosby top 10, Daniel Lacala, Harriet Banks 4th, and Forza Brendan top 15 out on track with still only 2.5 laps to go. Where has this race gone? 2.5 laps to go. We've been literally black screened throughout this race, or for part of this race anyways. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. Hopefully you're still sticking with me. And hopefully you're all going to be sticking with this battle for 2nd, because Volakongan and Blackbox are about to go maybe side by side and towards turn number 1. Volokongan has kept with mediums are just not lasting towards the end of the race, and that's why Fleddy's pulling away now, out on track. And it does look like these top 3, unless there's an act of God potentially for Blackbox and Volokongan. Volokongan there in 3rd position, doing a very good job. Blackbox there in 2nd though. Here comes Volokongan, battery enabled. Is he going to try and get this move done immediately in towards turn number 1? Pulls the outside line. Blackbox defends hard to the inside line. Alvatari later on the brakes as well. Pinpoints his car to absolute perfection on the exit. Volokongan though still down on the inside curve. Blackbox nearly gives him enough room. And Volokongan now surely going to try and get this move done. Blackbox though has got the DRS and he's fighting back up the hill and towards turn number 4. Great battle that, and Blackbox stays in 2nd. Volokongan in 3rd. For 90% of that move, I thought it was on. Volokongan trying to go around the outside. He didn't. Blackbox absolutely car perfect in terms of his pinpoint accuracy, in terms of the angles of the curb. Beautiful move. And Volokongan through, and he's into 3rd as we see further action further down the field. Scott Bugner forcing Nathan Clark all the way off track. That is not how you get an overtake done, my friend. Should know better than that. And Nathan Clark being backed up here by the Mercedes. And this is not good news as Charlie Harris tries to be forced off as well. Oh, there's a bit of contact, well, there's a bit of desync as well. Nathan down the inside line, though, not going to have this. Down the inside, and retakes a position for 7. Getting a little bit aggressive between the Mercedes and between the Williams here. Blackbox still stays in 2nd, though. Here comes Scott Bugner. Down the inside line. We are on board with this battle if the stewards do want to have a look at this. As as Nathan Clark just swoops back underneath him. Beautiful move. Through and he's into 7. Nathan Clark is egging Scott Bugner and Charlie Harris on, saying, you know what, guys, come and get a piece of me. And he's just got a piece of them back. Brilliant. Nathan Clark through and he's into 7. Scott Bugner 8. Charlie Harris in 9th. Final lap of the race beginning. Blackbox is still under pressure from Volokongan, but Volokongan not close enough in towards turn number 1. Might be the podium finishers done. Charlie Harris picked up another penalty on the run down towards turn 14 there. As, speaking of Charlie Harris, on the back of Scott Bugner, maybe a 3-wide scenario and towards turn number 1, the Mercedes being absolutely left, and Nathan Clark, and the Mercedes go into each other. Through turn number 1, Charlie and Scott are now having a fight with Nathan Clark just off the back end, and Nathan Clark, in fact, has run out of fuel. Nathan Clark has run out of fuel on the final lap of the race. I have never seen anything like this before. Nathan Clark has run out of fuel on the final lap of the race, and he's absolutely outdone himself. What has he done there? Oh my God, that is absolutely unfathomable. How on earth can you run out of fuel that far? I don't blame him for getting a 10-second penalty to try and cut the track and try again and hold on to as many positions as possible. And in the end, from what was potentially P6, Nathan Clark's going to be outside, maybe even getting overtaken by Brendan by the end of this race. And I'm not even kidding. Fleddy, through the final corner though, in the meantime, we'll come back to that as Fleddy comes toward the line. Domination from Fleddy and takes the first win of the season here in Bahrain. Blackbox hangs on for a very valiant P2. Great stuff from Blackbox. Great fight as well with Volokongan finishing in 3rd. Elliott there in 4th. If he's got the pace next week, watch out for him. He's got a 5-second penalty. I don't think he'll care because he stays ahead of Luca, stays ahead of Nathan Vanderberg, stays ahead of Charlie Harris and Scott Bugner, who tried to do the Mercedes tactics in the end of the race. He's got ahead of Charlie in the end for 7th and 8th. Harry Banks and Daniel, though, were side by side as Harry Banks goes right around the outside of Daniel. Softs against mediums on the run toward the line. Daniel, I don't think is going to be close enough to the back of Harry Banks. And Harry is ahead and stays in 10th position. Very good performance from him. Daniel there in 12th. Nathan Clark. There's Brendan. Don't think Brendan is going to be quite close enough to the back. Nathan Clark through the final corner. There's Brendan in the background. Yeah, Nathan Clark's going to get ahead of Brendan to the line. He's going to finish in 13th potentially. Falls of Brendan to the line in 14th. He actually gains ahead of him in terms of the penalties. And Hawk, what could have it been for Hawk? Running in the top 6 or 7 throughout that race. Got into contact with Ricardo, who ended up, I think, out of the race. And there, Hawk down in 14th position at the end of a very, very hard race and a very rewarding one for that. Charlie Harris picked up Driver of the Day. What about in-game fans? I think, however, for me, there is only one man who is Driver of the Day, and that is our race winner, Mr. QRT Fleddy. And Fleddy absolutely shone here tonight in terms of the action. It was brilliant to witness, brilliant to watch. And if that's a sign of things to come, one of our leading cast from F1 last season is going to be picking up his first championship here in TML. But, of course, there are still 11 races on the calendar still to come. As Fleddy comes to the top step of the podium, Nathan Clark saying it's twice now he's ran out of fuel in this league. Yeah, and it's twice that I've commentated on him running out of fuel on this league as well. I am the curse of Nathan Clark. With Fleddy out on top of the top step of the podium, and the Alpine does a very, very good drive to produce the race sprint. He will be very, very happy with that. Daniel saying in the chat as well, he was saying it was an open lobby lap 1. Yeah, it was a bit like that, to be honest, on lap 1. But, of course, stewards' investigations will happen, and if it does happen, of course, we will find out for you very soon indeed. And, of course, we'll report back to you next week in terms of the stewards' results. But Fleddy out on top from Blackbox there in second, Volokongan there in third, Elliot 4th, Luke 5th, Nathan Vanderberg in 6th, drove very well, watch out for him this season. Scott Bugner in 7th, Charlie Harris in 8th, Cosby in 9th, Harry Banks in 10th, McCullough in the end in 11th, Daniel V28 in 12th, Forza Brendan Hawke and Nathan Clark finishes. Nathan Clark actually, the 10-second penalty, that might get removed. Nitro, Neymar, Gainsclass, Kaya and Bass Bramer, the 5 DNFs out on track. And as I alluded to, about 6 or 7 laps before the end of the stream, there won't be any interviews here tonight. My voice is absolute shot. And I've got WOR and LOE coming up this weekend as well. WOR, of course, is tomorrow and LOE's on Saturday. So that's not going to be real fun for me, I don't think. But we'll try and obviously get the interviewees in next week, of course, if everything is back working again with Discord. But big thank you, of course, to everyone for tuning in tonight. Apologies, by the way, about the slight technical hitch that we had. Really appreciate you, of course, tuning in to Bahrain tonight for TML F1 Season number 8. Round 1 is done. Round 2, of course, will take us once again to Hungary. And I'm just going to quickly get the calendar if I can. So find it so I can show you on the stream. Give me a second, because I have got it saved somewhere. Here it is. Hang on. Give me a second. I will eventually get there in terms of my craft. Apologies, I'm just saving. Have you heard that as well? I just am saving that, and I'm now going to go and quickly show you the calendar. It's not too dissimilar, to be honest, from the EML calendar in terms of the racing. Well, there is the calendar for this season. Hopefully you can all see it on the right-hand side. Bahrain, of course, round 1 is done. Hungary for round 2, then Canada for round 3, Azerbaijan for round 4 in the first sprint race of the season. No thanks to me. Belgium there for round 5. Miami for round 6 for the first visit to Miami. Then Japan round 7. Monza round 8, another sprint race of the season. Then Silverstone, we're back home on the 27th and 28th of October. Marina Bay on the 3rd and 4th of November. Mexico on the 10th and 11th of November. And yes, Marina Abu Dhabi on the 12th, 17th and 18th of November. Potentially, we might be changing that though. Potentially, because I know PSGL have removed it from their calendar. There's a few glitches around Abu Dhabi at this stage as well. But I think by then, it will all be fixed. So that is the full calendar for tonight, and I really hope you did enjoy the stream. If you did, of course, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you are brand new to the channel. And of course, we will see you once again for round number 2 in Hungary next week. But for myself, James Head, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, next week, goodbye.